Hey, it's Zdroik. I'm talking Sunday's showdown at DraftKings for Manchester City at Liverpool. What's up, everyone? Hopefully, everyone has had some winning lineups. So we got this 11:30 a.m. Eastern match on Sunday. If you're looking for the four-game slate content, we do have a video. Me and Ryan Belangi. That video is up on our YouTube channel and on rotowire.com, as is the podcast, is in the podcast feed as well. Check that out. That's 9 a.m. slate. So win your money in the four-game slate and then put it in this 11:30 showdown. And then I guess just keep it rolling. Do 4 o'clock, do the late slate for NFL, and then the night game, and then what is that, 4 or 5 slates of winning at DraftKings, something like that. It's super easy. Just win money just like that. So, Manchester City, away favorite, 51% chance to win here. This is something. 1.99 implied goal total, 1.45 for Liverpool. Going to be goals, expected to be goals. And one stat that was brought up to me is Liverpool have not lost at home with fans in the last 5.5 years. In the last 5.5 years, that's a pretty crazy stat. You look at the odds, and it's like, okay, that's kind of wild that the odds are like this. But there's a lot of Erling Haaland buzz. There's a lot of Manchester City buzz that they're unstoppable in all this, and then you got Liverpool. They have some struggles here and there. I think their last home match, 3-3 draw against Brighton. They did just have 7 goals at Rangers. But you look at the matchups between these sides. Earlier in the summer, I guess in the summer, it was 3-1 Community Shield. I'm not sure how much you're really putting into that one. For Liverpool, 3-1 for Liverpool. FA Cup last season, 3-2 for Liverpool. League play, 2-2, 2-2. And then you just go back. There's pretty much always goals between these teams. You got to go back to, I guess, 2020. There's a 1-1 match, and then 2018 there's a scoreless match. Liverpool is not a team that's just going to be like, okay, we're just going to try and accept the blows, and hopefully this is a low-scoring match kind of a thing. That's not how they play, and that's kind of why these matches are high-scoring, because if a team wants to run with Manchester City, there's going to be goals. That's kind of how it goes. Newcastle found that out. That was a 3-3 match for them. Manchester United game in there as well. So this is a pretty interesting slate. Of course, you can always go goalkeepers. On this one, I'm not sure about it. I'm always heavy on goalkeepers, but this one, I guess, Captain Alisson, Captain Ederson, something like that. But just for looking at these lineups, we'll see how things go. TAA is out. Luis Diaz is out. We could get... It's expected that Joe Gomez is going to be in at right back for TAA. That's where he was. He's pretty much been there since TAA was injured. So it's expected Joe Gomez will start. Robertson is healthy. I'm not sure if he's ready to start. So that'll be something to look at. I wonder if Klopp may try something weird where it's like using both Tsimikas and Robertson. He's probably never done that before, so I doubt it. But it's an option here. So that's something to watch out for Tsimikas anyway, at least with Robertson coming off the bench. Otherwise, yeah, we'll see what formation they put out here. They've been kind of mixing it up, as you can see the game log. Supposedly 4-4-2 against Rangers, 4-2-3-1 here and there. We'll see what happens with that. As with Manchester City, they had the Sergio Gomez red card ordeal midweek, and so guys like Mahrez only played, 20-30 minutes or something. He was subbed off early. Haaland was rested. Bernardo Silva was rested. I'm putting a Kanji here at left back. I believe he started last league match at left back. I just don't think Pep really wants a young guy like Gomez in this matchup. So I think he wants more veteran presence here in the back line instead of Sergio Gomez, and we just saw him with that red card. So we'll see what happens with their back line, but Otherwise, I mean, there probably shouldn't be too many changes with Manchester City. Grealish is a possibility. We'll see, but so let's get into it here. So cash games will be not the easiest thing. Like there's a lot of money here. There's a lot of money, but Erling Haaland, I guess we'll say minus 140 to score. Do you want to use him in cash games? Probably not. Minus 140 isn't that high, and he is decent amount more expensive than everyone else. This isn't. We just had slates where like people were going Tony, people were going Kane in cash games. I don't think this is the same kind of slate. You know, with Tony, he's like the focal presence of Brentford's attack, so you go with him. Harry Kane, kind of the same thing. Focal point of the attack, you kind of go with him. You know, maybe to a certain extent, Haaland is, you know, the focal point for Manchester City, but everyone else on their team can score, basically. I'm not sure you need Haaland here. So do you go De Bruyne captain? Do you go Foden captain? Do you go down Tsimikas captain? I think that's the question here. Do we have to... Unfortunately, we have the decision of if Robertson's on the bench, is Tsimikas, you know, at risk of going 45 minutes kind of thing. If he struggles in the first half, if he's struggling on the right side, whoever's coming in at him, if Foden's on there on the left side, Grealish, whoever. If Tsimikas is struggling defensively and Robertson comes on the second 45, that is another worry that we have for Tsimikas for cash games. So just some things to keep in mind, but let me just pull up last season's results when these were 2-2. I vaguely remember talking about a show on this matchup last season. So 2-2, 2-2. Liverpool at home. So this first one here, what was this? October matchup. Liverpool 6 shots, Manchester City 12 shots. We got Robertson at 4 crosses. James Milner was in at right back for that one, 8 crosses. 78 minutes. Joe Gomez subbed on for the final 12. So it's a pretty decent floors for them considering the matchup. Goals spread out as expected across the pitch here for them. Cancelo, 1 cross, 2 chances created, no shots. Let's look in this other matchup, April matchup, and we had Cancelo had an assist, 4 crosses, 2 chances created, 1 shot. TAA had an assist, only 2 crosses. Robertson, only 2 crosses. So 5 crosses for Liverpool in the second meeting. In 2 meetings last season, Liverpool totaled 12 shots. So they got 4 goals from 12 shots. A pretty incredible number, and you got to think that something similar is going to happen again, which makes it hard to look at the Liverpool guys in cash games. So, like, we're not going to get the volume with Salah. Maybe he's most likely to score for him, but you're not going to get, like, the 5-shot volume. Or even Nunez or Firmino, whoever starts. You know, Firmino isn't probably the most informed guy in their team, but you're not going to get the volume for cash games, which is kind of what we're looking at right now. In the second meeting, Salah 1 shot, Sadio Mane 1 shot. This is the most April meeting, Liverpool at Manchester City. So let's just look at Manchester City guys for captain. I guess you could technically go with Tsimikas. Hope that he goes 90. Hope that he's in a range for maybe a 10-point floor kind of a thing, but still not the easiest thing. Is Cancelo in range for a captain? Maybe. Wow. I'm just seeing Salah is cheaper than Tsimikas. Okay, here we go. Robertson, if he starts, he is very cheap. So we got some options. Let's just do De Bruyne, Foden. Let's just do those guys for cash and see what we can get in this lineup. Obviously, we're not going to use Haaland in this. I'm not sure Cancelo is a must here at 8K. Maybe let's just do Tsimikas. I don't even think we have to do Tsimikas, actually. I think you can actually get cheaper Liverpool guys who like you're not just because like we don't know. As I just said, we might get Robertson in for 45. We don't know if Tsimikas is going to be here for 90, and that makes it really hard to talk about here. So we already have the limited. He's not going to be at his usual floor because it's a game against Manchester City. So we have to take that into account, and then to throw in that he's maybe not getting 90 minutes. So Tsimikas doesn't seem like a must in cash games. You can actually go down, and Thiago is now in a range where he's actually usable in cash games. He's cheap enough. There's a time when he was really expensive, but now we can get him on this slate. 5,200. You can see his floor here. Only went 23 minutes midweek. That's a plus for him to go 90 here. He's a guy who 5-point floor, sometimes upside. Sometimes he'll have some shots assisted. Sometimes he'll have some shots. Does a little bit of everything here in the midfield for Liverpool. Only 5,200. So you have that in there. I mean, you could really. Who else from Liverpool would you want in this range? Do you want Joe Gomez at a right back position? I mean, we saw what he did against Rangers. He had an assist. Take away that assist, basically 2-3 floor points in that game. I guess he also had a yellow card, so I guess you got to take that into account. But still, 2 crosses, 2 chances created. Like, he's not on set pieces, but he is cheap. So Gomez is in consideration. Just better. I mean, and he's about the same price as the center backs. One note, I guess I will say, is that Konate may not start. There are some rumors going around about some muscle injury for him. So if we have Van Dijk paired with Joe Gomez at center back with Milner at right back, that makes it really hard for me to be on Liverpool in this match, because that is just going to be tough to get around. I guess there's a chance Nathaniel Phillips starts, but I mean, that's really a stretch. But man, there is a chance Gomez and Milner are both starting. But let's just do De Bruyne, Foden, Thiago, and see what else we can get. In cash games, it's not crazy to do 5 Man City guys. If Gomez starts, he's 5K. If Akanji starts at fullback again, it's okay. That gives him more upside than the center backs, and he's only 38. Like, we can see what he did in previous games. He's only really had the one game at right back here where, it was against Southampton, so how much are you going to put into that? No crosses, a couple of shots, but this spot here, I guess it is Liverpool, but when you watch Manchester City, like, even the center backs, they sit around midfield and will move up a bunch. A lot of that's in games against worse teams. So, Liverpool, maybe we can't really look at it the same way, but just something to think about here. Even though there's not crosses, like, these guys constantly just like chip balls up and cross balls into the box kind of thing. They're not rated as crosses on DraftKings, but because they're playing a little more centrally, but just something to think about here. Just in terms of playing center backs and whatnot, if you want. I'm not going to do a goalkeeper in cash games here. Also, Bernardo Silva. I can't do Bernardo Silva in cash games. Playing in the central midfielder role is just too hard to project here. He has some big matches to an extent. He has some big matches. Early in the season, like when he's playing in the front three kind of thing, doing more attacking things, that's when he had the goal and assist kind of thing. You look at his recent game log, central midfield, sub risk, just not a cash play for me. His best match came against Copenhagen. Liverpool aren't Copenhagen, needless to say. Rodri is also in here. He's healthy again, but just another guy. 6,600. You may have to go to him, but if Gundogan starts, he's kind of in the same range as Bernardo Silva, because it's not like he's gonna be on set pieces with Foden and De Bruyne playing. We also got Mahrez. Mahrez will be interesting to see if he starts. I already mentioned, he came off early midweek because Manchester City had that red card, so we could get. I guess it doesn't make sense for Foden, Mahrez, and Grealish to all start. So I guess that's no point in talking about that. But in this range, I'd say De Bruyne, Foden, Thiago. Maybe if you want to do one of the Akanji or one of the center backs here, and then you're in like Grealish or Mahrez with Cancelo. I think that is. I guess you still got some money to spend. So I think that's a pretty standard move. You got De Bruyne at captain, and you got Foden. And how many set pieces are Liverpool going to get? So do you want to spend up for Tsimikas, or do you want to go down a little more? I guess even with this build that I have, you could probably fit Tsimikas in, because Tia's 5,200. I think it's I guess Tsimikas is 2K more, so maybe not. But yeah, going back to this, 7 corners in one meeting last season, 5 corners in the other. So, sorry, for Liverpool, 1 corner for Liverpool, 3 corners for Liverpool in the 2 matches there. So, another reason not to play that Tsimikas is not a must in cash games. So I'm just getting that out of the way. Tsimikas is not a must, but if you have the money, to do it, go ahead. Also, cash games, gotta say it's probably 5-1 Manchester City, 4-2 Manchester City. But let's get into tournaments here really quickly. If you want to do a goalkeeper, go for it. I'm not gonna make a goalkeeper lineup. I just can't do it. Maybe that means that it's time to go goalkeeper, but it just doesn't make sense with the way these teams play. Every match these teams play, there are goals. So maybe this time there's not, and do it. Go for it. Go goalkeeper. So Haaland, what do you want to do with Haaland in tournaments? That is the main question. Captaining him? He will be popular in captains just because of what he's done, who he is. No matter the price, like, people will look at him for captains. So I'm not gonna do a lineup with that, but it is like a possibility here. 16.2 as a captain is a decent chunk here, but I was looking through his game log, and Manchester City have had a pretty favorable early season stretch. Just looking at these numbers here, the downside is that even if he doesn't score, he's probably going to still take a bunch of shots. He's going to probably do a little bit of or maybe not a bit of everything, but he will still take shots, maybe have a floor around 8, something like that. But you look at these matchups, the hardest one, home against Manchester United. We know what he did in that game. But, these other games, like we saw at Wolverhampton, at Aston Villa, where he had better odds of scoring those matches. 15 points at Wolverhampton, 19 points at Aston Villa. Now you throw it in against Liverpool, different kind of game, though it is more up and down. There are reasons to fade him, and because he's going to be popular, I think this is easier to fade Haaland than it has been on prior slates. I will say that. On the other side of that, if Konate's out and Gomez is in at center back and Milner is in there, or as I said before, there's a chance we see Tsimikas and Robertson starting together at left and right back. I'm not sure it's been done before, but it may be required in this matchup just because of what Liverpool are left with due to some injuries. So that'll be interesting. If Gomez is playing at center back, I might go Haaland. It might be a must for me to go Haaland. I think the last time Gomez started at center back, he made 4 mistakes and Liverpool gave up 4 goals or something like that. I think that was the Napoli game when his last start at center back. So really hard to take that route. But if you want a piece of everything, I already mentioned Thiago in cash games, but so we look at Thiago. He's got a 5-point floor, about throwing some possible upside with Thiago. He is cheap. If you look at Thiago for captain, you can basically get almost whoever you want. So let's say this is a 2-2 match. All these Liverpool guys are pretty cheap. Firmino, I guess, is the one guy who's not cheap. So that's going to take something. If you want Firmino in this matchup, go for it. He's not going to be popular, so that'll probably be a pretty good tournament route, and he's their most informed guy. So that, Nunez is what, 600 cheaper than Firmino. Nunez will be more popular than him. Granted, Salah is down here at 7,200. It'll be interesting to see how popular these guys are, what their percentages are, because Salah as this cheap, I don't know why he's so cheap. But did something happen? He just had a hat trick off the bench. I guess if we're looking at that Arsenal match, the DraftKings is really putting a lot into that. Kind of weird, but okay. So Salah will probably be most popular of them. Nunez will be next, and then Firmino will be in there. I didn't mention Jota. Jota will probably be after Nunez. We'll see who starts. Again, we don't know who's going to start. It could be all four of those guys. I don't think it will be. I think, Klopp's going to want three midfielders in there. Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson probably. So that's probably what we're looking at. But, yeah, so, Firmino, if you want to go that route for tournaments, go for it. But yeah, as I said, Thiago captain, you can really get whoever you want. Like, I just got a lineup here: Thiago, De Bruyne, Foden, Mahrez. I threw Tsimikas in here. You don't really need him. But Salah. And then you get 7.6K to put in whoever you want. So this is basically a 6-player lineup where you have basically all these guys can score or assist. And that's kind of what you want in a possible 2-2 match. Like, there will be... So, if you captain Haaland, let's just look at it. It's just much more difficult to put together a squad. Do you want another one of these Manchester City guys? Let's just say you're doing Haaland and Foden together. What else can you do with this lineup? You're basically stuck with... do you want another... Even if you put Salah in here, you're kind of still in the range of... this mediocre range. It's not the worst thing, but you're going to be left with going towards center backs kind of a thing. You're going to be left with the Liverpool center backs, Joe Gomez, the Manchester City center backs with Akanji. So kind of 2 punts basically. I guess it, as I'm putting this together, it's not like the worst thing. Maybe it's only 1 punt, sort of, depending who you put in your squad, like Haaland, captain, Foden, Salah, Nunez. Like, you can put Thiago in here, and then you're left with just 1 punt. So, Haaland captain does make sense. So, you got to think that's going to be 20% maybe in tournaments. Yeah, it's going to be pretty high here. And it's just that because Salah is so cheap, that Salah and I guess even the other Liverpool guys, they're kind of cheap to where it allows you to make a reasonable lineup with a Haaland captain. So, I kind of bashed that strategy a few minutes ago, but it does make sense. But, this is kind of it right here. Just decide what you want to do with this. I just made a lineup with Haaland. So, you can captain any of these guys. It just depends on who you want to captain. I like the lineup with Thiago captain. That's probably as cheap as I'd go. I'm not going to captain someone cheaper than Thiago. Is there anyone else around? I don't think Harvey Elliott's going to start. Otherwise, you got Rodri, Bernardo Silva. Again, I already talked about those guys. Jota, Salah, and then you're just getting to everyone else. So, play for goals, and you just got to find the right goals. That's kind of what it comes down to. That's what these slates are. In cash games, just heavy Manchester City. I think it's pretty easy to put together lineups in this just because we got the cheaper Liverpool guys. But I think I'm most interested to see what Liverpool are going to look like on the back line, and then I'll kind of make my decisions for this match from there. I may go heavy Manchester City in tournaments if it's something weird. If Konate's out, I may go a little heavier on Manchester City. But even with that being the case, I don't think you can completely say that Liverpool are going to get dominated and they're not going to score. So I think any of those guys really can be considered. Always keep an eye on the bench and see what's going on there. We'll see who gets subbed off in here and there, but yeah, those are my thoughts. It's pretty, this is going to be a fun match. you just got to decide what you want to do. I'm kind of at a loss for words almost, but you just got to decide what side you want to back. If you think there's going to be goals, try and get 6 guys who can score and assist. That's what my method is. If you want to go Holland, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to probably have to punt on one spot. But if Holland gets 3 goals and 2 assists again, then and you're fading him, you're not going to win anything. So, but is that going to happen? That's for you to decide. But yeah, cash games leaning 5-1 Manchester City, 4-2 Manchester City. But yeah, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 10-day trial. Again, we got the show with me and Ryan Belangi up for the 4-game slate on Sunday. Otherwise, we got more games next week, so I'll probably do a show. We'll see when we'll do a show. There's no games on Monday, but there's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday matches. We'll do a bunch of shows. We'll have a bunch of content. But thanks for watching this. And we got some comments. I believe C. Rob is in here. Do you expect Salah to be taking right-sided corners? Also, I expect Robbo to start over Tsimikas if that helps your teams. Yeah. The thing with Robertson is even if he starts, is he going to be ready for 90? I don't think so. So it's kind of the same situation. I mean, he just played 23 minutes off the bench. He's coming from a knee injury. I guess it's not a muscle injury, so I guess that's a positive. But actually, let me look up Robertson's price real quick. So we have Robertson's 5,600. He's in that Thiago range. Obviously, for cash games, I would look at Robertson above Thiago. Even though there is some sub risk there, there's pretty clear sub risk. You'd probably go Robertson over Thiago in cash games. In tournaments, I'd probably go Thiago over Robertson because, as I just said, we don't know if Robertson's ready for 90. And then if you're depending on corners, like maybe he's only going to get 2-3 corners, is that worth it in tournaments? Probably not. So I'd probably look at Thiago more so in tournaments. Right-sided corners. Yeah, Salah. Let's just look what they just did against Rangers because I know that was a big question they had. Salah had the hat trick off the bench. I don't know. Does Salah even take corners? All right. Well, did they have any right-sided corners against Rangers? Tsimikas took 3 and Robertson took 1. Man, I didn't watch all of that match, obviously. So I don't know who took right-sided corners if they had any. That'll be something to check out. So yeah, if Milner's not in there, someone's going to be on right-sided corners, and maybe it's going to be Salah. So that will be something to think about as well. Something that would boost Salah a little bit. But again, how many corners are we expecting for Liverpool, especially only on one side? So maybe this is only like max 2 corners on the right side, so maybe not that big a deal. But if you're in that range for cash games, that is, a couple points. There you go. Foden captain. Okay. Yeah, Foden captain with Holland in there. Yeah, I mean, you can make things here. Putting Fabinho in there. When you captain, it's just like when you captain Foden, Holland, De Bruyne, you're going to be left with 1 punt. So that's kind of the thing here. And if there's going to be goals, no matter what side they're coming from, like he's projecting a 4-0 City win. Yeah, I mean, at that point, I guess. But Fabinho, what are you expecting from him? You're going to get 3 points from him, and all the goals are going to flow through Foden and Haaland? That's possible. We did see him just both get hat tricks, but other guys are going to score for Manchester City, I think. So I think you can find other routes. Just it depends. Because, Mahrez isn't that expensive. Well, he's not as expensive as the other guys. So maybe, like I said, it's closer than I'm saying. But he's still 1K cheaper, 600 cheaper. Yeah. I guess so. If you... All right. I'm 30 minutes in. I'm good building here. You guys are set. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck in your lineups. We'll see everyone later. Thanks for watching.